Welcome to Horns Up, and we are sharing folk and power metal vibes today because we've got Ensiferum's Petri Lindroos. I hope I didn't butcher that name on the show. They have a new album out this weekend. That's the July 10, 2020 weekend. It's their 8th release, Thalassic. Peter, you've been following the band for quite some time, right? How do you think this album held up?
Yeah, I mean, they did try something new with the concept and things like that, so that's cool. But if you're a fan of the folk metal or power metalish vibe, then you'll enjoy it. But yeah, I know it. Some people do find it kind of cheesy and things like that. For me, it's that little variety in my playlist. It adds that.
It is very cheesy, and in the interview, actually, we we learn that cheesiness is something that is completely acceptable and, in fact, encouraged at the Ensiferum camp. So, yes, there's a lot of insight into what makes Ensiferum well Ensiferum. Here we go.
So yeah, I'd like to welcome on the show Petri from Ensiferum. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, thank you very much.
Congratulations on the 8th Ensiferum album, Thalassic. Now, the press note mentions that this is the first album that has a specific theme to it, that of the seafarer and associated nautical topics as such. It also mentions that this happened because on the press cycle for previous albums, journalists kept asking if there's a theme of sorts for the albums, and that kind of sparked off the idea to do an album with a theme. So, is it right for me to say that Thalassic is like, hey, you wanted a theme album, here it is, kind of a deal?
Yeah, we've been asked that question for a longer time already, and well, finally the idea came together from our bass player Sami Hinkka, who did massive amount of research for all the historical events and digging out myths and all kind of cool stuff to write a theme album. And now we have a theme album about ocean related happenings.
Also, in the press note, there's a mention of a heroic mentality that's a signature of sorts for Ensiferum songs. What really is the rationale behind that? What is this heroic mentality?
Well, that's a very good question. Well, we've been singing about like battles a lot with swords and shields and that kind of stuff. So I think the heroism may be coming from that one, but also we have defined our own music kind of like heroic folk metal style. Most likely the heroism, also heroic, comes from that we have very melodic music, very epic melodies with orchestral backgrounds and stuff like that. So I'll go with that.
All right. Since you mentioned melodies, I'd have to say that the melodies are the biggest differentiator in the music or genre you're part of. Can you help us understand what makes an Ensiferum level quality melody? Is it hummability? Is it how quickly the melody can get stuck in your head?
um, uh, Now that is an excellent question too. Um, how could I answer to that one? Well, of course the melody. Well, it has to be really good, and it. Damn, that's a tough one to answer actually. Um, well, it needs to be good enough, and it needs to fit to the band at least somehow in the beginning, and then we always sit down together and try out every single variation what we can just come up with ideas, melodies and rhythms and everything. So if we find a solution how we can perform that particular melody, then it's qualified by Ensiferum.
Very quickly, I must mention a joke here. In India, we have a sweet or a toffee as such, which was called Melody. And the tagline for that was Melody is very chocolatey. I think that's a good word to define Ensiferum's melodies too, because just like chocolate, it manages to warm and make all of us feel good and also heroic at times.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big fan of chocolate, so I can sign that one.
Glad.
Awesome. Awesome. So, coming back, on your previous album, Two Parts, it featured a lot more clean vocals compared to the harsh vocals. And in an interview I read, your bassist Sami Hinga mentioned that it was just for the album. But listening to Thalassic, it also features a lot of clean vocals. I mean, most prominently on the track, One with the Sea, which brings me to my question. How do you kind of decide what style of vocals fit in best with the track?
Well, that comes from the person who is doing the music, which is our main guy, Markus Toivonen. It comes from him. He has the visions in his head, and he pretty much can say from the beginning that is there going to be clean vocals in this song or not. So that song was completely for clean vocals.
Coming back to the album, the track that really stood out for me was the last track, Cold Northern Land. I mean, compared to the rest of the album, it is quite darker. And to me, it brought back, memories of listening to the early Ensiferum albums. So, how do you feel that track kind of fit in with this whole theme that you had going off the sea?
I think it fits very well, and you are right. It's more darker than the rest of the songs, and we wanted to have a little bit more of old Ensiferum feeling on the song, and I think we did it really good. It really has this old Ensiferum vibe on it.
Yeah. Was there at any point like a debate that you all had that should we keep it on the track? I mean, it's an almost 9-minute track, so it's quite epic in that form. So, uh, was there any debate at all?
No debate at all.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Another thing I must mention, because we got the promo with the bonus tracks, and you've got two tracks which I was completely unfamiliar with. So I had to do a bit of research. One which is by an actor, I believe, Petri Lindroos, a Finnish actor, and it's a track Mirelli Lahatev. And the other one, which had a bit of a history, which is I'll Be By Your Side, which was originally by a band called the Lollipops, which was released in 1965, but only made famous by another Finnish act called the Hungarians. So both tracks have been kind of given an Ensiferum theme, a treatment, I must say, which is kind of cool. Why did you decide to cover those tracks and release them as a bonus on the album?
To answer for the first song, which is completely acoustic, and that one is actually a medley from all the melodies and parts what you can hear throughout the album. And the lyrics for that one is actually a poem, a Finnish poem by that man whose name you just mentioned. And the other one, I Will Stay By Your Side, it was a huge hit in Finland by the band The Hurricanes. And many people in Finland still today believe that it's a song from The Hurricanes, even though it's a cover from the Lollipops. And we really love that song. It's a very short, simple, great song, and we could find it to fit in this, how could we say, in a pretty epic form, I really like the outcome of that cover song.
Were there any other tracks that you all considered covering to include on this album as a bonus or maybe extras?
We actually ran out of time also in the studio, and right before the studio, we also ran out of time of figuring out these bonus tracks since they are so highly asked nowadays within all the album releases and stuff. But these were well, let's say the easiest and fastest choices what we could make within the time frame what we had. It would be nice always to record 5 or 6 at least different songs, but unfortunately this time we did not have the time for that one.
If it was up to you, which track do you have any personal favorites that you would like maybe on a extra or a next album that you'd like to do a cover of?
Right now, no, because we usually always decide these ones also as a group. We just come up with, well, most of them are very silly ideas. And then we need to try it out. Does it work or not? Not all the songs are easily transformable to sound like Ensiferum could add our own signature stuff on it. So it's a little bit longer process. So we just don't pick a song and just do it and hope that it works. We always make them work.
Petri, at this point in time, we've spoken a lot about Thalassic. We'd like to play a song from Thalassic for our audience. Which one should we play and why that song?
Now that's a good question. Damn. Let's go with Four Sirens.
Why that song? Your personal favorite?
It is, yeah. It's a little bit different from our usual songwriting style, and but it still sounds very much Ensiferum. So it's a very catchy melody song, good rhythms, good stuff. I like that song.
Lovely. So here it is. Here is Four Sirens. And as soon as the song is back, we'll actually, since you mentioned the songwriting, let's talk to you about the songwriting.
Sweet life from 8 albums in 20 years. It's quite a hefty discography. At this point, has it become easier to write an album's worth of music for Ensiferum?
No,
So has it
uh,
become tougher?
we don't want to, roll around in the same tracks as compared to the previous album or the album before that one. We always want to move forward and bring new elements and new stuff what we haven't done before to the music what we want to bring out on the next album. So going through that kind of process is it's tough. It gets tougher after every single release because there is like a little bit taken out from this angle and we should bring just a little bit of some new angle to the music so we can stay interesting to ourselves also and also to our fans. So I would say it gets a little bit tougher each time.
Is there a bucket list of sorts that you personally have as such? Like, any songwriting elements, sounds, any experiments or thoughts that you're looking to integrate into Ensiferum as a musician?
No, we don't have a bucket list. No, we go also with the flow, like what kind of material comes out, and it pretty much tells us very soon that what it needs. So if there's something to be tried out with, we always try it out, and usually we are very surprisingly positively surprised.
Petri, how much of Finland would you say is in your music? Essentially, the question I'm trying to ask is, could Ensiferum have come from any other country?
I have no idea. I have never even thought a question like that. I have to say no.
Okay, I'll tell you where this question came from. Now, recently we interviewed several bands from Canada, or actually we were talking about several bands from Canada, and there seems to be this unique Canadian metal sound that's developing, which obviously it has a lot to do with earnestness or just honesty or something of that sort. Like I can tell if this is a band from Canada or not. I'm trying to see if there's a similar thought from Finland, maybe.
Well, Finland has so many metal bands now that I remember back in the 90s and stuff like that, the most of the stuff was just like melodic, very dark metal and death metal and a little bit of black metal here and there. And then in the early 2000s, we started to get bands like Nightwish, Children of Bodom popped up late 90s. And this kind of way. So the sound was transformed a little bit at that time, but I think you can still recognize Finnish sound pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Could you maybe help us understand what this Finnish sound is? How would you define it or describe it to somebody who doesn't know what the Finnish sound is?
It's really hard to describe a sound, so I would just recommend the fans to go on a Finnish heavy metal trip and go and listen to different kind of bands. Then you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so let me ask you this: why do you think Ensiferum's music resonates and is popular with so many people the world over? Why do you think people are listening and really? What is its appeal?
Melody in the music. We have cheerful stuff. We have beer drinking songs. Then we have more serious songs in the between. And we basically also say to ourselves that we have no musical boundaries, what we cannot do. You know, we have a Western theme going on Stone Cold Metal, and on Two of Spades, we have very 70s disco in between. So we have no limits. I think it's that one. And also the live performances, what we do, we go out over there and give 200% each night. So the show must be entertaining that's why it's called entertainment business.
Okay, but just humor me on this one, and it's just the flip side of the argument as such. A lot of people associate the metal that Ensiferum plays and a lot of the genre artists play is they associate it with cheesiness. How do you react to such a statement?
It is so true. Of course, it's true. You cannot deny it. Sometimes we go over the top by ourselves, and we actually ask ourselves, like, is this too cheesy? Can we actually put this one on an album? And the answer is always, hell yes, we can.
I love that. I love that sense of confidence that allows you to do that. I mean, it truly takes balls to be able to be so cheesy and yet pull it off every single time.
Yes, you need to be able to laugh at yourself in this business also. We do this as seriously as we can, but we are still able to have fun with our music. That's one of our strong sides.
So, this is a personal observation I've made, and you touched upon it slightly earlier, that in the past decade or so, there've been a rise in bands in the folk metal scene, and a lot of their focus is more on the image than really the music. I mean, you talked earlier about how you classify your music being battle, right? And you guys in your videos and images, you've got like the battle gear on. What do you think about it? I mean, do you feel at a certain level it takes away from the music?
I think the both should walk hand in hand. You know, it's both is equally important. Well, of course, the music is really, really important. To me, it kind of doesn't matter what the guys are looking like, what kind of outfits they wear or whatever. It doesn't matter if the music is good. That speaks for itself.
Now, here's something I read in your website, and if I may quote you, because I'm not sure who exactly said it, is you said, "We're privileged to be full-time musicians, and you never know what the future brings." I'm not sure when exactly you said it, but it's in a way kind of strange considering the time that we face at the moment with the pandemic all around the world. So, considering you all are full-time musicians, what changes do you have planned based on the current scenario around the world where tours are being cancelled? We don't know when gigs will come back.
Yeah, that is also excellent question. Like, what can bands do? Well, right now the online world is very open to everything. That doing like live stream shows and stuff like that. It is a real bummer, this current situation. We lost 16 festival shows, and the new
Wow.
album is coming in like 2 months on July 10th. And touring was supposed to start later this year, early next year. So a lot of plans have completely been flushed down the toilet. And well, we are not the only band. Every single band has the same issue right now. So we are currently working on a live stream show. So that is going to happen, and hopefully we can announce that one out pretty soon when we get the final information.
Besides the live stream, are there any other special promotions you guys are doing for Thalassic? Given, of course, the circumstances of sorts, maybe an online Zoom listening party.
That would be actually a good one. Thank you for the idea.
You're always welcome. So here's our final question to you. What does heavy metal mean to you after such a long time playing heavy metal around the world?
It means the best music in the world. I love it. It gives me so much pleasure and energy and just good vibes all over.
And on that note,
Awesome.
thank you so much for your time, Petri. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Stay chocolatey.
I
Yeah,
will.
stay sharp.
I will. I will stay chocolate. Yes. Thank you guys very much, and stay safe, and hopefully see you all soon.
So yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, I still remember listening to Ensiferum when I first got into metal, and it was one of those things that I was introduced to. Hey, check out this band also. So it was kind of cool to talk to someone from the band and kind of realize that they are really looking at the cheesiness or the goofiness in the music, and why not? I mean, not all metal has to be like brutal or serious, right?
I'll be brutally honest here. This was my first ever Ensiferum album. I'm not a huge power metal or a folk metal kind of a guy. I appreciate cheesiness though. And I can definitely appreciate the fact that when you go over the top, you have to really commit to go over the top. And hey, Petri definitely is chocolatey, and this is extremely melodic. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Reach out to us. We are at honsapod.com or find us on Twitter at honsapod, at Asmoani, at Trent Crusher. You know the drill. Till the next time, horns up.
Horns up, guys.